Hello, I'm Dr. Helen Pensanti, and welcome to Doctor, where medical conversation meets everyday understanding for you and your health. Today, we're going to be focusing on something called chronic pancreatitis. This is a long term condition where the pancreas, the organ that helps us digest food and control sugar, becomes inflamed, scarred over time. This scarring reduces its ability to make digestive enzymes and insulin, leading to pain, malnutrition, and diabetes. To help us understand what it is, why it happens, and how we treat it, I'm joined by my colleague, Dr. Bryn Henderson, a board certified physician and leader in regenerative medicine. Dr. Henderson, thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Well, what exactly is chronic pancreatitis?
Oh, chronic pancreatitis is when the repeated inflammation causes permanent damage to the pancreas. The gland becomes hard and loses its ability to work properly. And patients often struggle with abdominal pain, weight loss, diarrhea, and later they nearly all have diabetes.
All right, let's talk about the different types and stages.
Well, we look at it several ways, but most of the stages go mild, moderate, severe. And the mild stage starts with the pancreas still working, but you don't feel it's not working. The moderate stage is the digestive problems, bloating, diarrhea, vitamin deficiencies because we don't process our foods properly. The severe stage, though, is in a class by its own. There's major scarring already in the gland, the loss of enzyme production in the gland. Diabetes is very hard to control, and the risk of complications is not only prevalent, but usually they have them, cysts or even cancer.
All right, let's talk about the causes of chronic pancreatitis.
The biggest risk factors are usually alcohol or booze and smoking, but the repeated attacks can come from other causes like autoimmune conditions, blockages in the ducts, and sometimes unknown reason, usually always influencing the change in the way we process fat. So lifestyle factors strongly influence who develops this disease.
Wait a minute, let's go back to that. Processing fat, triglycerides is what you're talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, one of the first things you do when you put somebody in the hospital with pancreatitis is you take up the fat in their diet and you send them home on a fat or a low fat diet. This isn't going away. They're going to have to maintain a low fat diet.
All right, let's talk about family history then.
Well, thank heavens, because usually it's in a close relative. So what's going to go on here is if you can get the family to change their diet, you can eliminate the risk to many of the others, especially the younger ones, that are simply born with a weak defense system from their pancreas or prone to processing the fats differently. The environment itself is easy to fix. It's alcohol, tobacco that determine how severe it goes.
Let's talk about birth factors and development of the pancreas before they're even born.
Well, pancreas develops very early in a pregnancy from two small buds that later fuse, and the process itself doesn't happen smoothly. It can create weak spots or unusual drainage pathways in the pancreas. For example, a condition called pancreatitis can make it harder for digestive juices to flow in the pancreas from the head to the tail, leading to repeated inflammation and eventually chronic pancreatitis.
How does traditional Chinese medicine view chronic pancreatitis?
TCM views chronic pancreatitis as a problem of blocked energy and damp heat imbalance in the digestive system. Herbal formulas are used to clear the inflammation, reduce pain, and improve digestion. Acupuncture is added and may also help to regulate energy imbalance and relieve symptoms.
How do you diagnose it in your office?
It combines the history, the imaging, ultrasound, and lab tests. The CT scans or MRIs will show scarring and calcification because it's chronic. The ultrasound can detect it early, very simply and rapidly. Stool tests measure the enzyme levels to check digestion. Blood tests themselves look at nutrition and diabetic risk. And unlike acute pancreatitis, enzyme levels in the blood may be normal in chronic cases.
Okay, let's go back to that stool test, because a lot of patients go in and they say, I've had diarrhea, I've had constipation, I've had this, I've had that. And doctor will order a stool test, but they're not ordering necessarily the enzymes.
They're ordering the fecal elastase test, and it's used as a sensitive pancreas function test. So in the blood, you have lipase, amylase, but the digestive enzyme can be added so that it helps digestion. It's pretty cool.
So now those who are listening, you now know that there's a special test besides just blood in the stool, ovum, parasites. That's very interesting. All right. So what's standard of care for chronic pancreatitis?
Treatments focus on controlling the symptoms and slowing down the damage. Slowing down the damage is a big deal. You got to stop the alcohol and stop the smoking completely. Enzyme replacement therapy helps a lot with digestion, nutrient absorption, and decreasing the gas. Insulin is used if the diabetes develops to control that. Pain management may include medication, nerve blocks if it's wild, or surgery if all else fails. If the ducts get blocked, they need to be opened quickly to survive. The nutritional support with vitamins and a healthy low-fat diet is essential.
All right, let's talk about regenerative medicine. We're in a new era of regenerative medicine, and those who are listening to the sound of my voice, I'm telling you, we are in a new world with medicine, and it's called regenerative medicine. So, doctor, you're an expert in this. What are the new therapies?
Well, regenerative medicine and the therapies tied to it are also being studied for the future. Regenerative cells and exosomes are not only showing promise, but they're already reducing inflammation and extending life with less scarring. They may also help the process of repair in the pancreas and many of its functions. Peptides, which is, of course, the proteins made from amino acids that you have in your bodies already, are normally occurring and you don't have any reaction to except for their benefits. They are extremely good, and the PRP, the platelet-rich plasma, is under research, show ways of support the healing, and they do that by their growth factors, healing factors. They make new vessels, for heaven's sakes, in addition to decreasing the pain.
All right, let's talk about lifestyle strategies to help people who have chronic pancreatitis.
Well, lifestyle is key, of course. We've been sort of beating that up, but patients should eat a low-fat, high-nutrient diet with small, frequent meals. Usually they're eating 5 to 7 meals a day, and they take vitamin supplements to help them with the digestive process. They stay well hydrated, so the urine is always clear, and they exercise daily, usually twice, to gently improve their strength and reduce inflammation. They want to make sure everything works so they can decrease their stress, get a good night's sleep, and the stress doesn't worsen the pain. And again, we've said this a couple times, but watch the booze and the smoking. Neither help you at all with the chronic pancreatitis.
What's the long-term outlook?
Chronic pancreatitis is lifelong. We've stated that a couple of times. But with treatment, many patients live for years with an excellent quality of life. The biggest challenges are pain, malnutrition, and diabetes. And you can add compliance. It's hard to live a life with chronic pancreatitis unless you're dedicated and devoted to it. Patients rarely develop a cancer, but after many years, you are susceptible. You need to make sure and follow up with your physician.
All right, let's talk about the mnemonic for pancreatitis. What is it?
Well, this one's easy. It's pancreas.
P stands for
Pain control and management.
A.
Avoid alcohol and smoking.
N.
Nutritional support, vitamins, small meals, and low-fat diet.
C.
Control the diabetes with insulin.
R.
Replace digestive enzymes.
E.
Exercise and lifestyle changes.
A.
Awareness of complications. Lower your cancer risk.
S.
S stands for specialist and sleep. Follow up with a specialist is necessary if you're going to be under controlled long-term care.
Well, thank you, Dr. Henderson, for taking us through chronic pancreatitis, a condition that is painful, complex, but with the right lifestyle and therapies, patients can live better lives. If you or someone you know has chronic abdominal pain, weight loss, or changes in digestion, do not ignore them. See your doctor early to rule out chronic pancreatitis. So thank you for being with us. If you would like to see Dr. Bryn Henderson in person, I encourage you to call 714-639-4013. His office is at 615 East Chapman Avenue in Orange, California. That's in Orange County, California. And if you'd like to get in touch with me, go to my website, www.askdrhelen.com. That's www.askdrhelen.com. Until next time, I'm Dr. Helen PENSANTI. This is Doctor to Doctor, where real doctors share innovative information to bring hope to you for your health. Join us next time. Bye for now.